Good morning once again and welcome to the Point. It is Thursday, May 7th, 2020. Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN Television Facebook page, Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, those of you on GBN channel 7, 11 and 20, and the listeners of Classic 105 Hot 98. Good morning those of you joining us across the various platforms. We are opening the phone lines this morning. 435-2041 is the number to call. Anything that you want to share this morning, questions that you may want to ask, if there's something happening in your community that you think we need to be made aware of, share with us this morning. 435-2041, that's the landline number. It's also the number for the WhatsApp, 435-2041, but please do not voice or video call the WhatsApp. We can't take those calls. Neither can we listen to your voice notes, watch your videos, download your pictures. Only written messages on the WhatsApp, please. Only words, letters, numbers, that's all we can facilitate on the platform. You can also pose your questions, comments, queries, concerns on the GBN Television Facebook page or the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. Let's take our very first phone call of the program. Good morning.
Good morning, Doctor.
Morning.
The things I want to mention. One is the question of tourism and agriculture. Now, this government has placed a lot of emphasis on tourism. Now, what we have seen, the tourism industry has collapsed. Now, we have to turn to agriculture. We must get food. Tourism is no more for a time. So I hope that the government will see to inject some monies, more money into agriculture. Right now, Blossom, the farmers are looking for tractors to plow their lands, and we cannot get tractors. The government has done away with the agricultural farm machinery, and farmers are getting problems to get tractors to plow their land. Now we are almost in the middle of May. June is around your corner. That's the hurricane season where we get plenty rain. So I hope that the government is rethinking the strategy in terms of where they will put more money into, and it has to be agriculture. Now we need food, and we need more food. And Grenada is one of the islands where we have less soil, where we can produce enough food for our own consumption and for export. So I hope the government is rethinking that, put more money into agriculture. That is where we will get our sustenance from, and that should be one of the main pillars of the Grenada economy. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. I have heard that comment or suggestion or call from members of the public as well. So you're not alone in your thinking. Good morning.
Good morning, Blossom.
Morning. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Nice.
My problem is I would like for the policemen to look into certain things here. You have buses willing to run. Now, people need to move to and fro there. Open up certain places where bills could be paid and things like that. Now, if you live in Burge Grove, you have no bus, so you have to walk down to Grenville to pay your bill. And buses willing to walk at a loss. They are willing to walk with the 5 passengers at a loss. But the policies, they say no public transport. Now, if my bill is $40, should I pay a vehicle $50 or pay $40? Let's look at this. If the bus run, you pay the bus, the $250, you pay your bill and you get back. But the buses are willing to operate at a loss. But the police are not saying no public transport. So if my bill is $50, if my bill is $40, I have to pay a transport $50 to go and pay $40. Let's look at that and look into that. Thank you. That's my concern.
Thank you very much, caller. The police have acknowledged that they've heard the pleas of members of the public who rely on public transportation, but their concern continues to be the issue of safe distancing that cannot be facilitated in the buses properly. While you have acknowledged that there are buses willing to run at a loss, there are others who would see this as an opportunity to bypass the laws and break the rules and do what they want to. Even now, when they should not be on the roads, there are buses who are breaking the law. So while there may be, in my mind, it's a situation of Peter paying for Paul and Paul paying for all. Because while they may be able to crack down on some of the bus drivers who are breaking the law, there are others who they may not be able to catch in the act. So if everybody cooperates, then it's possible that the police might, give the bossman a bly, as they put it. But for now, there are some who are making their way bad for others. I'd put it that way. Good morning.
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 Is that to the point?
Yes, it is.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
As best as I can be.
Great.
But I have some suggestions. And I have a little query. I wonder if we couldn't allow the people to go to the supermarket 4 hours per day. Because that's standing in the line for so long. It's added stress. This is my assumption. If you go, what I say, from 8 to 1, and everybody has to make up their mind to go from 8 to 1, get what you want, and get out by 1 o'clock. And the next time when they want to extend, they could go from 8 to 2 or 8 to 3. And when we close up, we go from 8 to 4 without the additional stress. I find it very stressful to go 2 days a week and you stand in a long line with a piece of cloth over your nose. And the heat, I think, is a little too much stress mentally. You have it socially, you have it economically, mentally, and then you have it physically. This is just sitting and thinking, because when you don't have much to do, you have more deep thinking to do. I think it's a little too much for the society, and eventually people might just crack up.
Thank you very much, caller. You would recall that in the initial stages of easement of regulations, they did try the limited number of hours for supermarkets. They operated 8 to 12, and that brought more chaos, because with the short time span that people have to shop, everybody was on the road at the same time. So the lines were much longer and people took much longer to get inside the supermarket. But now with the time frame of 8 to 5, the lines are shorter. The supermarket workers are working longer shifts. Well, they're open longer hours, but the lines are shorter. For instance, Foodland's line is no longer in the parking lot, no longer in the dust where the cars usually park. That line was sneaking when the time frame was just the 4 hours. Now that it's extended, the line is just limited to the concrete part of the parking lot. Real Value line is just limited to, you could possibly say, by the entrance to the mall, and it's no longer sneaking around Montrouge because people have a longer time to shop. So whereas everybody would be in lines by now, there are people who are timing the lines and waiting to go there at 1, 2 o'clock, and are standing in lines shorter. It's still long, but it's shorter than when the time frame was shorter. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm first-time caller to your program.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too good.
Why?
I have a problem here. Now, listen to me.
Share it with us. Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm owning a mortgage, okay? On my property. All right? I'm past 62 years. Okay? I do a little apartment, a one-room apartment. Okay? The government came and they value it and put additional taxes for me to pay. Now I'm still owing my mortgage. And I haven't known, hearing nothing from the government. Only all heard they say we're supposed to give you a tenant that ease up. And if they can't pay, we have to be lenient. But the people that I borrowed the mortgage from not lenient to me. So how am I going through with this situation? Yes, I'm willing to give my tenant a break, yeah, but I still have to pay my mortgage, and if I'm paid, the interest going up. So this is unfair to me.
I just want to ask, in terms of the mortgage, the financial institution, have they told you specifically that they're putting up on interest? A lot of institutions are providing relief.
I heard one of my institution was on the radio yesterday and said even though they give you a waiver, the interest will be going on. Even though they give a waiver, the interest will be going on. And most of the time, your interest is higher than the down payment of the property where you're paying for according to your mortgage. So the interest there will be no ease up on the interest. I heard that from one of the person that I borrowed the loan from.
Okay.
So this is really strenuous and stressful to us.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't know how to respond. To be honest, I don't really understand the lending institutions' plans. Many of them have offered moratoriums. Many of them have said, we'll give you a little ease up on the loan repayments. But I'm not sure if they're all adding on the interest at the same time. While you don't have to pay a loan this month, we're going to still put the interest. I'm not sure. But I'm sorry to hear that you're going through this. I guess it's a give and take. If you're asked to ease up your tenant, then technically you're a tenant of the lending institution. They should give you an ease up too. The thing tough. Let me go to Facebook in the meantime. Why is a box of Cricks $105 in some places in Grenada? Things so bad already? I'm not sure. My concern is that the supermarkets are not putting the protection glass for the cashiers, especially the 3 main supermarkets in Cités, where the traffic is very heavy on the shopping day given. There are some who have installed the plexiglass barricade between the cashiers and their customers. I'm not sure if I don't think it's a legal requirement. It's just the supermarket management wanting to protect their employees and their shoppers. So I guess those supermarkets who have not done so should consider it for the protection of their workers and the shoppers. Maybe the shopping should be divided into certain villages at a time for every parish. Maybe that will shorten the lines and frustration. Suggestion only. I doubt. I doubt. Good morning.
Good morning, Bosan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. Just so my gentleman with the interest business.
Mm-hmm.
This is so the banks they're giving this whatever they call it moratorium, but you have to pay the interest, which I find is real well. I guess the bank making money, but if you care about people, and you know that there's a problem in the country, why don't you say, okay, let me waive the interest? So if you come when you start to pay a loan again, your loan will just be extended for a couple of months, so much a couple of months, but you have to pay the interest. And that is what I can understand about these people on them. All they care about is money. So they don't really helping you. They don't helping you.
Okay.
I mean, they're giving a kind of deferral for a time, but the interest that they pay on this thing is so high. I have to go in there and deal with them and say, look, you putting on my salary, whatever, I never asked for it. And now you come and tell me I have to pay the interest. I say, that can be. I say, me and you have an agreement. You take your money, so on, so if I have a problem, let me come. But don't just do that and then come and tell me I have to pay interest. I say, no. So I find that the bank should at least waive this interest, if they care about people and, without people, they cannot exist,
Right.
Secondly, I would just like to inform the public. I'm a police officer, and I have to, a number of occasions for this week, have to do with people going on jog, exercise. Just want them to know that they are not supposed to be exercising except on the business days, and in that case, only Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right. Other than that, they are not supposed to run the exercise. Run from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m., 1.5 hour per day. At a time, only 1.5 hour, So people have to be aware that some of them say that they have asked people in position who advise them is every day. It is very unfortunate, but just want people to know that it's only on the business days that this exercise should be taking place. And where the mass is concerned, now whenever this emergency laws come out, it is what was there before, we really repeal it. because you get a new thing for maybe when in this case is a week. This is running until from the 5th, I think, until the 12th. And what the law is about the mask right now is that once you're in a public space, you're supposed to be covering your nose and mouth.
Right.
That's what the law say. Public space, if you enter in any place that is open, any building and stuff like that, or if you're in a vehicle with other persons. Well, I guess once you're in a vehicle now, because talk about public space, you have to be covered because even if you're in a vehicle driving in public space, still you're on the road. So you see, the one before that, or the two before that, there was like, you don't have to wear the mask unless you're in a line to enter in a building, or in a vehicle with persons. That's what it was. But now it has changed again. So here, people have to just keep abreast with this thing and listen to, well, I think the government information center does put it on ever so often. But people just have to be aware as to what these things is changing very often, because once the 12th come, the 13th, there will be another one again.
Right.
So they have to, read or listen to know what the conditions are. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, officer.
Good.
Thank you very much, officer. Something I was going to say. Oh, the exercise. Yes, I've noticed people exercising on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Most times in the morning period, I guess under darkness. I've seen people on the road. Thank you very much, officer. Let us go back to the phone line. Good morning.
Good morning, Blossom. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad.
Nice.
No, yeah, I'm not sure if you're aware of that accident that took place on Sunday up in Corinth.
In Corinth,
Yeah, with that bike man. I approached that accident. I didn't see it happen, but on my approach, I saw, the guy was lying in the road. And he had other things going on around with people around and everything. But you know what kind of appalled me a little bit? It had two police officers there in plain clothes. And I saw one of the police officers actually physically hang on to a gentleman in a bus trying to pull him out. You know when you're doing tug of war? He had both feet planted inside the bus and pulling out the man. I say, one day I say, look, there's a victim on the ground dying or suffering, and you have these two police officers, they're concerned about pulling a man out of a bus. Well, I don't know what happened, whatever happened before, but from what I've seen, that didn't make no sense. As far as I see, police officers should be trained to do emergency help in terms of that kind of accident. Instead of you trying to go and do something that is otherwise, and you have somebody suffering in the sun, the man lying down in the sun there, they cover him. They had his head down, which they should have his head a little bit up so the blood wouldn't flow down with whatever injury he had. And I say, listen, to myself, this is real stupidness. These are police officers that are supposed to protect and serve. But they go on there like in a bacchanal, some kind of confusion, and one of the policemen had a gun in his waist, So I say, suppose that man decided to put up a real resistance. What's going on there now?
But you don't know why they were pulling him out of the bus?
I don't know why. But the action that I was seeing, that didn't call for. I'll be honest. Because you're supposed to speak with authority to somebody and let it come out. You're not supposed to be physically hanging on to them as if you're wrestling to pull him out of a bus. If the man resists, you have to read him his rights and arrest him or something, and you handcuff him. But not the way I see he was pulling on a man from that bus. They are there to investigate and see what's going on with that. Something wrong somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Like you said, you're not sure why they were pulling him out of the bus. It could be that they did speak to him nicely and said, come out for whatever reason, and he was putting up a resistance. You didn't see the beginning of the struggle, so it's kind of unfair to say it was uncalled for, because we're not sure. But I understand what you're saying about the need for officers to be able to render assistance in uniform or out, because this is something I've heard before about police officers, whether in plain clothes or even in uniform, with injured people around, and they are, should I say, unable to render assistance for whatever reason, whether they don't have the proper protection from the blood, or whether they don't know what to do, or whether they've called the authorities or the relevant authorities. I am not sure what the reason is, but that comment has been making its rounds in public domain for some time. Let me go to WhatsApp. I want to know what is in place for people who has babies in the hospital and has no means of transportation and can't hire a taxi. What is in place? I am not sure how to answer you, love. Get a ride? I don't know. There's nothing in place publicly. I would like to find out where the bus owners have to go to get help. As part of the financial assistance program by government, I know there's an application process. In terms of accessing the form itself, I would need to verify. Let me see if I can find out for you during the course of the program, and I'll let you know. I do know, I'm not sure where you can pick up the form. Good morning. As regards to agriculture, could farmers cope assist with the improvement in, could farmers cope assist with the improvement in agricultural machinery? I'm not understanding the sentence. Rewrite the sentence a little bit, because I'm not understanding what you're saying. Can you throw that? Because we heard that what was concerning the fall farmers recently. I'm not understanding the question, so just rephrase it for me, please. Thanks. You just can't please people. What do they want? They're not taking this seriously at all. In what are you referring to? Good morning. The problem I have is that I think Dr. Martin or Dr. Noel should come on the program one morning and talk about the chances and risk about someone with sickle cell surviving COVID-19. I know I asked yesterday, but I am not satisfied with what the doctor said. I want to know, is it 40% chance, 50% chance? I would love for one of them to come on the program and see. I'm not sure what else Dr. Mitchell could say. Maybe you can Google it and do your own research, get the collated information as it relates to sickle cell patients dealing with COVID-19 who have been afflicted with the disease. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I want to be on the program.
Yes, you're on the program. Go ahead.
Yeah. As far as I am concerned, a lot of people in authority, they give information, but I don't know if they give correct information. I could mention a lot, but because for my own security, I wouldn't say it. For example, let's say, I'll give you one. How could you expect people to come for a burial, and you cannot come with a hired vehicle? Besides that, how do you expect people to go and they come for a burial, and you expect agents or whoever to make arrangement with you and agent to make arrangement, and then they'll make arrangement to bring it up for you? These are ridiculous information. For example, a lot of policemen are doing, I don't know if they are trained, but they do not perhaps take the training. For example, you should know, I didn't say you must know, you should know that you're not supposed to pull out a man or a woman or a driver from behind a wheel, because possibly you could cause the driver to be involved in other accident, maybe in front or in back or the side of him. You have to get some way of getting him to come out from the vehicle without you, when I say harassing, you pulling him out. So I cannot believe that these people are trained, except they have been trained, and yet for all, they do not take care, because you see, when certain people have guns and so on, they feel heavy. That is what happens. So you feel trigger heavy, so anytime you could react. So people, in fact, I find they should never give these youthful fellows guns, although they say they are educated, these young policemen. And most of the times I see the young ones with the guns. They should give experienced one guns. And a lot of us are making a lot of mistakes. Even, I didn't say you cannot make mistake, a lot of us are making mistakes when we come in to give information. In fact, information has been put on mathematics program. You add up. I wouldn't say you add up. I would say you add. You could add sideways, you could add upward, you could add downwards. I wouldn't also say add a quarter and a half. I might ask you, give you it in a social situation. If I have half a mango and half a breadfruit, how much do I have? In other words, what I'm trying to tell you, you cannot tell me to add a half and a quarter. You could only tell me to add similar things in the same category. Mangoes plus mangoes, a half a mango plus a quarter mango. But the mango must be the same size. That's all you think. And you don't say find the LCM. You shouldn't say that. You bring all to the same name. What do I mean by that? If you want them to bring them to 100, 2,500 is the same thing as a quarter. 1,500 is the same as a half. So a child could bring the fraction to any denominator. So so the thing is, you must put those things in social situation, real life situation. That's my taking. I know you might say I'm wrong. You might, eh? I didn't say you would say I'm wrong. So.
Thank you very much, caller. Have a good day. I was a bit lost with the last piece, to be honest, about the adding up. Yeah. The barrel situation, well, like you said, they did mention that the hiring of taxis are not allowed. Make arrangements with the agents to have the barrels delivered to you. That could possibly be easier anyway, instead of having to run up and down with a barrel. Just make arrangements. Until, let's just work with the regulations as they are. Until further adjustments or easements are made. Let's just try to operate. It's just a temporary arrangements. Things are not as we are accustomed to, but it's for our betterment and our safety and our health. Let me go back by WhatsApp. Why, when poor men are hungry and they go in the bush and dig yam, if the police see them, they would take the yam from them and tell them to go home, and the poor man goes home and his children home hungry? Because if the yam is not yours, it's stealing, aka predial larceny, which is against the law. Just like you'd like to dig up the yam and feed your family, the person who planted it there wanted to feed their family, and when they go back for the yam and the yam is not there, then they can't feed their families either. So basically the police telling you, don't thief. Good morning. The banks are not giving any ease up to anyone. They are just like the people that jack up the prices of things. People still have to pay the interest. Not fair. It's no help. That falls under trickery. I want Grenadians to... Hold on. I quite agree with the first caller, but when you plant, them thief will go and take your crop and they might jail them, buyers and them. I want to know if the part shops will be open in case you need parts for your vehicles. I want Grenadians to know Carnival start early because we playing with lots of mass. Part shops, yes. Vehicle part shops are open on business days for, I think it's 8 to 12 or 8 to 1 p.m. The Carnival, okay. I listened to Mr. Clement on Tuesday, and I think he is fishing around to see who will dance to his drum, because his ideology still sounds NNP-ish. And just want to get back to Dr. Mitchell because of the money issued they had. The money issues they had in the past. Yeah. Right. Good morning. The last caller and the busman. The busman was warned nicely because he was obstructing office and refused to obey. He was obstructing traffic and refused to obey instructions given by the officer. Okay. All right. In relation to the accident in Corinth, the busman was warned nicely because he was obstructing traffic and refused to obey instructions given by the police officer. I suspected as much. There's most times a method to the madness. So I don't think the officer was, idle and just decided to holler the man in the bus. And a lot of times we don't have respect for people in authorities. So if the officer said, could you move your bus? They probably start to quarrel. He probably was thinking the same thing like the caller. No, go and tend to the man on the ground there. Could you move your bus? Could you come out of the bus, let me arrest you? And then things escalate from there. Yes, the police participates in the escalation, but sometimes the person or persons or people are the ones who help escalate the situation. Comply and complain. Comply, then complain. Oh, call. Good morning.
Morning, Blossom, and how are you today?
I'm good. How you do?
Well, I can't complain, I never complained yet in my life, and I don't ever complain now.
Nice.
Blossom, I was trying to get on yesterday, but I couldn't get on yesterday because I wanted to ask, what's his name, George Mitchell and Nicholas Steele, about this donation of the mask and the testing kits from China. Because I was looking at, I think it was on CNN and BBC. Right now, India and China is in confusion. You know why? Because India alleges that they order these test kits from China and it's given a false positive and it's inferior. About 30 or 50 million cases of this thing. Also, the English people also is in confusion with the Chinese also because they're alleging, note the word because I just choose my words very carefully, that they order this what you call PP, what you call personal protection from China. And apparently they give it to their health workers and a lot of other people. And this is inferior, and they alleges that a lot of people if you notice, a lot of people in the health service in the front line are dying because that is what they claim. It is inferior stuff again. And all I'm saying is that I know generally lots of these countries, what do you think they do? They dumb the whole thing on these, what you call it, small developing poor countries or however you call it. And we go and meet them and we both, Chinese give us this and Chinese give us that. Not saying it's the same set of test kits that India and them refuse and is in commotion. I don't know. But I'm just throwing it out to the doctors because I couldn't get on yesterday. And because they're not responsible. Even Nicholas Steele not responsible neither. Because nobody would know that. So just get me clear before you jump down the chest. I'm not blaming no member of government. Neither am I blaming the doctors or the COVID team. I'm just alerting the public, and I'm just saying to the government, be very careful, because you see some of these things that you're getting, that's what the first world rejected. China also have a reputation for inferior stuff. I remember recently, I think there was some name that they called Purell or Irel, that a sanitizer from China, and there was this alert that instead of big on the box, not the box, the tin, 80% alcohol. When they did the analysis in the United Kingdom on all about 5% of alcohol in it, not what the Chinese were saying.
Okay.
You have to be careful and wait. Just let me tell you one final thing.
Very quickly, because you're over time by a lot.
Right, so just telling you, I know I bought a shoes some time ago, and I had to go to this cocktail party. When I put on the shoes to go out that night, it busts. So I am not running down anybody, or I'm not criticizing. I'm just telling you that the Chinese thing, you have to be very careful because they have a lot of cheap inferior stuff that they may be dumping on people.
Thank you.
Right.
Two things. Somebody keeps calling the WhatsApp. I cannot take WhatsApp calls, please. Only written messages. Two things, caller. One, the health officials have spoken about this before. From the research that I've done personally, two things. One, there are different factories in China producing the test kits and other equipment, not just for COVID, but for different things. And some of those that have been deemed faulty are coming from not all of the factories in China. Secondly, what India has reported was that they're getting the faulty test kits. The kits that they are getting are rapid test kits, rapid testing kits. Grenada has been using rapid testing kits, but the confirmation of positive cases come from the PCR tests. So if they do a rapid test on you and they see a positive result, they do not rely on that. They further do a PCR test, and that is where they get the final figures from, not the rapid testing kits. So just in case there may be, I don't know, just in case there may be faulty test kits in Grenada, it's not what the officials are relying on to tell us if somebody is positive for COVID-19. Let's take a break and come back inside. This is Open Line on To The Point. We'll be right back.
The NIS is committed to your well-being and continues to provide the same excellent service to you from the safety of your home or office. Therefore, from April 2020, all remittances must be submitted electronically to nisremit@nisgrenada.org. The e-remittance template can be downloaded from our website at www.nisgrenada.org/e-submission. Alternatively, you can provide us with your email address and the required Excel spreadsheet will be sent to you. Call 440-3309 or chat with us on social media for more information. NIS, serving you because we care.
The following are a list of food items to have on hand amidst COVID-19. Perishables like vegetables, fruits, provisions, and eggs. You are advised to stock perishable items to last up to 2 weeks. Non-perishable items including dry goods like cereals, flour, cornmeal, oats, rice, pasta, nuts, and nut butters like peanut butter, crackers, canned or frozen meats, ready-to-eat canned meats, powdered or canned milk, dried peas and beans, canned fruits in natural juices, 100% canned fruit juices, and canned vegetables. You can stock non-perishable food items to last up to 1 month. Store bottled or clean drinking water, 1 gallon or more per day per person. If you suffer from a medical condition, have prescribed medications on hand. A message from the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council as we battle COVID-19.
Stomp out careless or intentional bushfires, dead out. Youths, hunters, smokers, let's prevent bushfires. Here's why.
Bushfires. Destroy lands where crops should be. Bushfires. Can lead to food scarcity. Threaten biodiversity. Cause water shortage, water calamity. Bushfires in watersheds deplete water quality. Threaten property, life and security. Bushfires set intentionally, water sanity.
Bushfires can cost millions in losses annually and are often caused by careless or intentional actions indictable under the law. Forests are life-giving. Save them. A message from the Fire Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force and the Caribbean Open Trade Support.
Welcome back to The Point. We're opening the line. Anything that you want to share, 435-2041 is the landline number. It's also the WhatsApp number. You can also post your comments, questions, queries, concerns on the GBN Television Facebook page or the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. Let me go back to the WhatsApp before I go back to the phone lines. The person has rewritten the question, and the question is, as regards to agriculture, could farmers' cooperatives assist with the improvement in agricultural machinery? I am not sure what role they can play in the process. I do know that the final say-so comes from the Ministry of Agriculture. Somebody had asked a question and somebody gave me an answer, and I know I'm scrolling and I cannot find it. Don't worry, I'll continue to look for it. The guy with the mortgage need to go to the bank to make arrangements. Please let the bus drivers know that the assistance are only for those who pay NIS. That's the answer I was looking for. In relation to where buses can go to get relief, you can go to the NIS office and fill out the form. Thank you very much, writer. That's the answer I was looking for. And only those of you who pay NIS would be able to benefit. Lost Rukshan in the dance. As that caller made reference to the accident last Sunday, do these bikers have to get permission to ride en masse like they did last Sunday? If not, why no action was taken by the police? Because we are still under state of emergency. They, according to head of the traffic department of the Royal Grenada Police Force, Superintendent Rani Connaught, it is still a state of emergency. There is no joyriding that should be taking place. In terms of action that can be taken by the police, we have not heard. Well, I personally have not heard if any action will or can be taken. Not sure if any of the other bikers made themselves known to the officers on the scene. Let's put it that way. And they can't take action against the victim since he has passed away, unfortunately. So I'm not sure about action that can be taken. Let me go back by the phone lines in the meantime. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, I was raising a point with Mr. Steele yesterday, which has to do with the people who went on the beach and were congregating on the beach. Most likely they didn't have on any masks. And I asked him if these people were tested. The answer he gave me was that he don't believe people are tested when they are arrested. The point I am making is these people were congregating in a social way on the beach, and I think it was 11 of them, and I believe these people should be tested. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. What the minister was saying is if they do not have, like every other member of society, if they do not have obvious signs of the virus, then they may not be tested. If in contact tracing they find people through contact tracing and they still don't have the symptoms, then they may check them just in case they're asymptomatic. And while I understand what you're saying about checking them, I guess they do have their names on file and maybe follow up when they do go to court or when they come to pay the fine. These things may be considered. I'm not sure. Maybe that would be a question for the police, maybe. Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Citizen Welsh. Greetings. How are you?
I'm good, Citizen Roller. How you do?
You sound pretty happy. You sound as fit as a fiddleman.
Oh, well, thank you. Look, I make me smile.
Citizen Welsh.
Yes.
Well, there's so much to talk about, and I thought I'd rest for a while, but I'd want to hint a couple of things. One, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, one of your words for the day was, quote-unquote, solecism. Do you remember that word?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Meaning the inappropriate, incorrect, improper use of language, both written and spoken. Citizen Welsh. I'm sitting here, I'm listening to certain things on this radio station. You know, when you really come to think about it, we must be confused, you know. There are certain people who tell us things the total opposite of what they really want to say. No wonder. I am taking note. And very soon, I'll launch a new component to my comments, making corrections to some of the quote-unquote hogwash that I hear on radio. I want to say also, Citizen Welsh, send my greetings, salutations, and congratulations to the brothers and sisters who work with the police, the nurses and doctors and other healthcare workers. Citizen Welsh, most importantly, too, I think we have to recognize the people who work in the collection of our wastes. People don't recognize them. I do not know. I cannot see them. But I do hope they're well prepped and geared and so on, and they're wearing their masks, and more than just a simple face mask, but a mask that will protect them from the pungent scents and so on they had to deal with. We had to show great respect. I have some recommendations to make to the state of Grenada for the new constitution design, which we hope to get through as soon as we get through this thing here. These people should have insurance policies, life insurance policies, paid for by the state. We'll elaborate on that a little later, Citizen Welsh, but I finally make this statement. I am disappointed that in the news of this here country for days, since Monday, and even beyond, but Monday significantly, because on that day, in a neighboring country, incursions were made by mercenaries, aided and abetted, everybody knows it well, by the government, the criminal neo-fascist government of the United States and of the Republic of Colombia, into the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. And not a word has been said. So close to us. Mercenaries with instructions to kill the President of the United States or to take him out of there to another country, Citizen Welsh. And we say nothing about it. You ask the question, Citizen Welsh. Do you, in your institution, have people monitoring the television stations around the world in various languages? Not various, many, but at least Spanish and French. Do you? Just yes or no?
Yes, we do.
You do?
Yes.
And why is it this is not spoken about? Such an important matter. Long live the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and their rights to live as a politically independent sovereign nation states outside of the abuses of the United States of America, that neo-fascist government. I'd like to hear something on that issue, Citizen Welsh. Do have a nice day. Continue to protect yourself. And I wish all the brothers and sisters who are out there working to protect us very well. I can't go without saying that. I'd like you to get across to Citizen, what's his name? Citizen who he admitted that he's a subject of the Queen. Steele, the so-called minister for, as a matter of fact, I'll call him Minister Quarantine. Minister Quarantine, the word is quarantine, Q-U-A-R, damn it. You're insulting my intelligence. Do have a nice day, will you, Citizen?
Thank you very much, Citizen Rolo. In relation to Venezuela, the issue we're having with the Venezuela story, we're hearing not even two sides of the story, like 4 and 5 sides of the story. So the problem is, one, deducing the facts and deducing what is real, and secondly, getting the proper information. There is not much information coming out of Venezuela that we can trust. So I'll put it that way. So while there have been U.S. agencies who have been doing stories over and over, a few stories well, they're doing it from their angle. And of course, they go make themselves look pretty. When we're trying to get Venezuela's angle, however, that's where the problem is. But we are monitoring the situation, even as recently as yesterday. I haven't been in the newsroom this morning, but even as recently as yesterday, we were discussing the issue. So we're trying to weed through the traffic, I should put it. Let me go to some comments on Facebook. Sickle cell people must be very careful out there and stay away from the crowds. People, my daughter have it, and her doctor told her, please be careful out there. Morning, Sheena. Morning, Tonya, my darling. We have it big on my profile. I do not want anything from the People's Republic of China. Don't say anything. Sweden had a problem with China and face masks. Sweden refused millions of them. Thank you for explaining. Who is donating to us? Not the almighty America, not UK. We are on our own, so when we get contributions, we first say thanks. The issue of substandard products coming from China is an established fact. We in Grenada need to be mindful and cautious. This is about life and death. Okay, let me go back by WhatsApp in the meantime. Tell the driver and or passenger of PAK 858, the small car on the Westerhall route, that proper waste disposal is not on quarantine. Your KFC large cup should have been kept till you reach the nearest garbage. Cannot the bushes near shelter solution. Not in the bushes near shelter solution. You have details. Yeah, shame them. I fight. I think they didn't have a name. And in a vehicle, you gotta keep the cup in. Oh, jeez, Lord. Okay, let's do this. Grenadians just like to do as they please, and like it or not, you have to adhere to the rules of the police. If a police officer comes to arrest you, it's obvious because you did something wrong. You cannot be cursing the police and carrying on and expect to not get rough up. Respect the police and fight your battle in court. Facts. In other words, as I've been saying, comply then complain. We like to make things hard for ourselves. Just go along. If when you're reaching the holding cell, they realize you didn't need to be arrested, they'll let you go. But if in fact you need to be arrested, they'll say, well, okay, keep yourself quiet still. Just comply. But we like to feel we big up and like to show people that we heavy. And then there's problems in the dance. The COVID law, which was passed in a parliament with no opposition, was this law debated before passed? Part of this law is very draconian and are violating the nation's human rights. In the UK and US, questions are being asked on how the government has dealt with the virus. GBN and the media should be holding the government to account instead of agreeing with everything they say and belittling people when they cry out because of the pain they are feeling. Which part of the law that you are referring to that are violating the nation's human rights? You need to be a little bit more specific, just in case. The first time Mr. Clement was on the show, I was listening to him, and it bothered me when you asked him about Grenlec. The answer he gave was exactly what NNP gave, trying to fight against Grenlec. Good morning. Masks are important now. What if the store's been open so the seamstresses who sew can get material to make these masks? I saw a fabric store open in St. George's about 2 weeks ago. No, last week, I think. It's possible. Seamstresses should have little cloths in a cupboard there. Somebody brought a suit to sew. They didn't use all the material. That's what they've been using it. Don't get tired. They have, man. Don't worry. I'm asking the cabinet to please open courts, Grenada. But, Lord, we asking for more things to open again. Okay. The buses, only the buses that pay NIS. I don't think it is fair. These people, other persons have families too. Only the buses that pay NIS. I don't think this is fair. These people have families too. You don't think it's fair that only the bus drivers who have been paying NIS should benefit? If that's what you're saying, then I'm gonna watch you with a little side eye. Because if you're not contributing, why should you benefit? It's like trying to save money in a financial institution and somebody else who was not saving the money come for it because they have a family to feed. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me know. Let me know if I misinterpret. The government is saying one thing, and then after they try to disturb people's mind, right now is not the right time to play with people's mind, especially with the money the government promised people. I am gravely concerned about the number of people who gather in junctions, rum shops, and etc. on shopping days. These people are seen drinking and smoking in the open like nobody's business. I think the police need to patrol more, especially in these shops and bars that open a back door and sell alcohol. If you are aware of where this is taking place, call the police and let them know. We only have so many police officers patrolling, and they won't be everywhere at every time. And then by the time they're walking up the road, somebody say, give me a shopkeeper name. Bob. Police coming, shut down. So if you know of it happening, call the popo, let the popo know, yo, such is the case, and they would intervene. They can't be everywhere at every time, and they won't know of every instance when it is happening. So if you are aware of people who are breaking the rules and regulations, call the Popo. In St. Paul's, I've seen the garbage collectors not wearing masks and another in the body of the truck stripping the plastic bags to make space. Where are the relevant compacted trucks? Solid waste, take note. We want NLA to open. That's how some of us get a little extra dollar. Lord, we asking for more things again? Can you find out if anyone have breadfruit to buy? LOL in truth. LOL in truth. A small red car. We have to be careful with the material used for making masks. It is sometimes difficult to breathe in some homemade masks. Some of them fit very snugly on your face. So breathing is a problem. The claustrophobia is ripe sometimes. Maybe that, I don't know. Yes, I'm making sure I'm getting everybody's comments before I close off. Joseph is already trying to spray down the studio. Let me take... Yes, Joseph, hold on. Let me just take this caller. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. I find a lot of things are being strange. For example, when people said that the virus is being airborne, and then they come back and tell you that stay away from each other 6 feet. It gives me the impression that after the virus have been airborne, after 6 feet, to some extent, it's no longer active. So what it tells me, maybe it depends on a special velocity of the wind, that it could go for 6 feet. But suppose the velocity is high, maybe it could go for 10 feet or 20 feet. Okay. And let me just say that. One thing I want to say now, it's time that the police or they make laws to arrest the youths that do not wear masks, not only the youths. Make it compulsory that everybody, once they leave the home and they go to a public place or they're in a public environment, they have to wear masks and arrest them and put them in a particular house, all of them, and don't even give them masks there because they don't want to be in masks.
Thank you very much, caller. I think that's the same caller. I didn't realize that was the same caller from before. Thank you guys so much for participating in the program. It's time for Joseph to make his way in here for a mid-morning buzz. Those of you who participated with your questions, queries, comments, concerns, same time, same place tomorrow, God willing. It's another open line right here on the program. That's the end of my time today. Have yourselves a terrific Thursday. Stay home, be safe, stay healthy, do what you need to do to ensure that you can continue to be COVID-19 free. Do your part, be COVID-19 smart. Have yourselves a good day, everybody.